Okay, we will move on to number 10, which are board member comments. Board Member Klein?
So the strategic plan was mentioned or presented on this morning, and I just had a few things I would like to say, and I've written them down if you don't mind. But I have some grave concerns on how the components of the strategic plan are being implemented without ongoing oversight and input from our elected board. I know we talked about maybe what that would look like, that regular reporting, but when the strategic plan was passed, I don't think that the board realized that we were effectively signing a blank check to allow staff and others to take over the critical details of the plan's implementation and incorporating by reference resources created to advance strategies as are listed at the bottom of each of those pages in the gray box that are not of our making, strategies created by who our staff or other agencies. Who exactly are we ceding our oversight and authority to when we go to those resources, which are many, and go beyond, I think, just research. The strategic plan implementation has the 4 main goals, but those 4 main goals have 17 sub-goals. Under those, and each sub-goal features another section of resources created to advance strategies. Under goal 1, just for example, the first resources created to advance strategies link early learning, high quality instructional cycle resources, goes to its own subdocument that is 7 pages long, with 6 more sections designed to advance the implementation of the USBE strategic plan. Those 7 or 6 include goals and outcomes, planning, instruction, assessment, data and reflection, and adapt instruction. Under just the first section of the subdocument alone, there are 10 links going to outside sources, all intended to be used to advance the USBE strategic plan. Some of those include Georgia Department of Education Guide, Edutopia Framework, Ireland National Council on Curriculum and Assessment Toolkit, ULEAD Toolkit, John Hattie Video, Jennifer Davis Poon Center for Innovation in Education article, Learner Centered Collaborative article, Aurora Institute article, Education Week article, Cult of Pedagogy blog. Under the second section of the subdocument, there are 10 more links going to more outside sources, all intended to be used to advance the USBE's strategic plan. CAST, a virtual framework, ULEAD, IRS Center, virtual module, Mindful Learning, Digital Promise virtual framework, Expeditionary Learning Tool, Katrina Schwartz article, Cult of Pedagogy blog, Novak Education guidance document. I could go on and on. There are 40 more resources created to advance strategies linked under just goal 1, early learning, leading to 40 more sources that our board doesn't control, but that our board is taking marching orders from effectively. Total, we are at 60 sublinks under only the first link under goal 1 of the USBE strategic plan 2022 update. All of these outside resources are driving the direction of our strategic plan, and none of these outside resources are accountable to the board. We have had no say in vetting or approving any of these resources, and yet here they are in a document that bears our name and photographs, and not just any document, it's our board's strategic plan that guides and shapes the comprehensive course of K-12 education in Utah, and that we are held accountable to by the legislature. Under no circumstance should this document be viewed as being, in my opinion, endorsed by the board when we had little to nothing to do with determining its contents and the direction those contents are pushing us toward. If everything we do is tied to the strategic plan, it should be given as much or more attention than the over 60 hours we've given to the individual standards for social studies. We should have been able to provide input on each of the plan's parts prior to them being presented to us as a done deal. This strategic plan implementation update should have been presented to us as an action item, not just a report that we are helpless to amend in any way. We should, in my opinion, err on the side of due diligence and perform our perform ours by addressing each area of this implementation piece by piece to ensure that we are upholding our constitutional stewardship of general control and supervision in a properly and fully informed manner. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Klein. Board Member Cannon?
Thank you, Vice Chair. I just wanted to give a brief report to the board on the NASB Annual Conference. It was my great honor to be there and to have with me Brent Strait, who has served on NASB's Governmental Affairs Committee, and Matt Hymas, who is serving on a mathematics study group. And maybe I should also mention that Randy Booth, who wasn't there but has served us this year on the Public Education Positions Committee, how I appreciate these fine gentlemen and their support of state boards and the National State Boards of Education. I had an opportunity to present there on Utah's Digital Teaching and Learning program, and all the information was given to me by wonderful staff members here, Rich Gaisford, Sarah Young, and Todd Call. Gave me some fabulous information, which I then presented at NASB. We were so far ahead of the game because we started in 2016 to get digital teaching and learning in all of our schools. And nobody else really recognized how critical that was until the pandemic hit. And so at this presentation, for the first time in my life, I heard Utah called rich by the state of Arizona because we had been investing so many millions of dollars in ongoing money to do this. And Arizona is now trying to catch up to where Utah is. But I wanted to thank the staff for the wonderful input they gave me. As a final crowning thing that happened there, NASB has two affiliate organizations. One is called NCOSIA, which are state board attorneys. The other is called NIXB, which are state board execs. And we have been represented there by Jeff Van Hulten. And the last day, Jeff Van Hulten was elected to the leadership of NIXB. I think, are you vice chair, Jeff? Yes. I think we should give him a round of applause. And that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Cannon. Board Member Strait?
Yes, a couple things. Excuse me. So I also had the opportunity to present with Julia Armstrong, and the title of that was The Case of the Missing Child. So we were talking about absenteeism, truancy, those types of things, and we were part of a panel there at NASB, and I appreciated the opportunity. By information, everyone needs to be aware that Utah High School Activities Association will be doing realignment. That occurs every 2 years. There's a public hearing next week, as well as a follow-up meeting by the Board of Trustees, and then there's another meeting of the Board of Trustees, and in January will culminate in all of that will be put together and all that will be available. The reason I bring that up is I think it's important that if anyone contacts you, that you pass that information along. We want to serve the interests of each one of your districts to the best of our ability. And most of them will be contacting the High School Activities Association directly. But you may hear from people. I know, for example, in Tooele, they're going to have some issues with growth and new schools coming online. And it's just nice that you feel like there's a conduit, a way that you can impact that. Yeah, I'm the one on the board that represents everyone, whereas most others represent school districts or local boards of education or principals or things like that. So please have that on your radar. You may or may not be contacted. If you are, I'd be glad to help or move things along. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Strait. Board Member Booth?
Thank you. I'm going to ask Jeffrey to help me. I have a couple of slides I wanted to share.
Jeff? Are you Do you have,
Yep,
you have board
he's
member-
there. He's
okay.
there. A few weeks ago, I attended an evening performance of Shakespeare at Canyons District Union Middle School. Theater educator Brooke Grant collaborated with her volunteer husband, who has an MFA in Shakespeare staging from Exeter University, and he was recruited to work with her 6th to 8th graders. And I'm not kidding, I was absolutely blown away. I've got a pretty deep background in Shakespeare, and my wife went to Cedar City when she was a freshman on scholarship with Fred Adams program, and so we know Shakespeare, we love it, and to see these 6th graders, 7th graders, 8th graders involved was amazing. We witnessed 15 monologues featuring the best of Shakespeare and a remarkable 10-minute scene from the Julius Caesar featuring every student in the class. I know this was only one of thousands of examples that we could all enumerate from our visits to schools. We're blessed with committed, caring teachers across this state. Our students are bright and gifted and committed to rising to the call for excellence. I can't think of a better cause to be spending our days and nights on. And thanks to all of our collaborators in this exciting endeavor. When I shared last month with you in an email the Stephanie Rule image from MSNBC's 11th Hour last month, dramatically showing Utah singled out as the only state in the nation to not fall in math, it was a bit strange to get national attention for not falling as far as other states. But it's also nice to recognize that we pushed forward on our goals despite the conditions of the pandemic. As we're coming up on elections tomorrow, I've been thinking about the members of this board. Here I am still feeling like one of the new kids on the block, and I'm about to become one of the oldies. And I want to express my sincere thanks to our board members who have been here guiding the ship, some for multiple terms, even decades. Our board leadership, Mark and Laura and Cindy, have devoted much of their time and their best ideas in leading our efforts. And I so appreciate their persistent focus on the 4 goal areas of early learning, effective teachers and leaders, safe and healthy schools, and personalized learning as guideposts on the road to awesome. These dedicated leaders of learning have also surrounded us with an amazing team at USBE who are dedicated to making a difference for our students, families, and educators every day. I guess I could sum up my comments in just 2 simple words. Thank you. And it is a pleasure to serve with you. Thanks.
Thank you, Board Member Booth. Board Member Norton.
I'm grateful that I'm sitting here in between 2 of the most wonderful board members that will soon be leaving us, and I get to look down the row and see the other 3. As you all know, I'm from St. George, and our mascot down there is the Trailblazers, and that's what I collectively call the 5 of you, is that you're trailblazers for us. You have shown us great strength and leadership, and at the same time, the softer sides with the grace and the insight and eloquence as you have served. I want you to know from the bottom of my heart that your careful guidance has changed my life. Your clarifying comments have changed my life. Your inspirational emails has changed my life. And your well-timed phone calls and listening ear has changed my life. So I'm going to take a little bit of liberty. And I know some of you are in St. George quite frequently and others maybe not as often. But around town, you're going to see some bison. And I'm going to bequest those bison upon you so that you know that those bison are to remind you that as trailblazers, there's a St. George girl who's very grateful for the help and the time that you have given me and the work that you have done for this board. So look for the bison and know that you are a trailblazer. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Norton. Board Member Hanson.
Just wanted to report out, I've been serving on the STEM Action Center board, and we held our first week of STEM here in Utah during November. It was November 7th through the 10th. Had some great activities. The governor rolled that out. Just highlight, there's 6 programs that are being really highlighted by the STEM Action Center right now. The Micro STEM Fest kit, which is being distributed around the state, the Chief Science Officer Program, the Tech Moms in Color, talking about reentering the workforce, Club Ability, robotics, and hydroponics are all things that the STEM Action Center is promoting. So just shout out to them and to the governor for helping us to promote that this year. That's our first ever week of STEM. So thanks.
Thank you, Board Member Hanson. Thank you, board members, for your comments today. Not really. Okay, Vice Chair Davis?
She just clarified for me that we are not going to get a chance to speak when we honor our outgoing members. So it was a little confusing in the emails, but so now thought I was going to have some time to get myself together. I've learned so much from the 5 of you. And you have shown me so much grace and kindness and patience. And I thank you for that. And I am sad for our board that we are losing you, but I am so happy for your families that they get you back. We were at a meeting at the Capitol yesterday, and when we were walking out, Laura was going to meet some of her friends for lunch, and I said, I'm so happy for you. You get to do a real person thing, like real people do. And I said, yesterday afternoon, I did a real person thing also, and it doesn't happen very often. And she said, that's because we're not real people anymore. When you work on a board like this, and schools and children and families and educators matter so much, you carry this with you everywhere you go. And even when you're thinking and doing something else, part of your brain is on this. And so anyway, I'm happy that you're all joining the land of real people again, but again, sad for us, and thank you for all you've done for us and me.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Board Member Hymas?
Yes, thank you. I just want to quickly echo what has been said and offer my appreciation, gratitude for all members here, but especially those outgoing. And what may have seemed like meaningless conversations to you were meaningful to me and shaped my ability to serve hopefully effectively on this board as somebody who came in new, speaking to our leadership in particular, saying, I am frustrated. This isn't what I thought it was. And your patience and guidance helped me understand better, right? And I think with the chuckles, we've all experienced that. It was a pleasure to sit down last month and get to know Janet Cannon after 2 years, right? And Brent Strait, when we get to have those conversations that we talked about. And so I just thank those of you who have served with me and have helped me. And although we don't always vote the same, you guys are great. You're wonderful. And it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Hymas.